Developing Saint Lucia into an island that fosters remarkable talents such as Julian Alfred. This is the initiative spearheading Island Champs 2024 as First National Bank united with the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports alongside the Ministry of Education. The track and field event centered around Saint Lucia's youth is given the conditions to truly flourish as the illustrious banking institution provided a considerable fund of $100,000 in order to cultivate and assist our budding athletes during the event. At the press launch held on March 5th, key figures such as Mary Wilfred, the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports, highlighted the relevance of First National Bank's considerable involvement towards sports in Saint Lucia.
The Ministry of Youth Development and Sports is delighted to celebrate this milestone on the sponsorship of First National Bank for our Island Champs, which will be held on Sunday, March 17th at the Soufriere Mini Stadium. We've engaged in multiple stakeholder consultations, and we may hear a little bit more of that from Mr. Sipal. But apart from the Ministry of Education, we have held consultations with His Grace as Bishop. We've held consultations with the evangelical churches. We've also held consultations with the National Council on Public Transportation so that we will have a more informed way of doing, of producing the events so that everybody is engaged and involved. And we are so grateful for the recommendations and for some of the experiences obtained through these consultations.
Cyrus Sipal, Deputy Chief Education Officer, outlined the continued efforts of the Ministry of Education in aiding the development of sports in Saint Lucia.
We look at sports not as a pastime anymore. We look at sports not as it used to be done sometimes as a punishment. You boy, go and run 10 times around the school. Okay? But in sports on the heel, as was mentioned, of the success of Julian Alfred, will continue to be featured not as an event, but we want sports to be seen as a career path and as a lifestyle program. So therefore, yes, Island Champ, it is picking up steam. It is picking up momentum. And then we will see that one-day event as a major program. But it will not end there. Because that's why we commend First National Bank for teaming up with Ministry of Sports and Education to be the brand sponsor for this tournament. And then what we are hoping to see now, by the time we would have identified the elite athletes coming from Island Champ, we don't let them die out. We don't let them go back to their community or their homes, and then the next time we will see them will be 1 year later in another Island Champ. But then we are going to understand that this dynamism we have in the 21st century with the young people, we are going to create the career path.
On behalf of First National Bank, Fletcher St. Jean, the managing director, affirms their commitment to being a community bank and assisting our society by any means possible.
When we say a community-oriented bank, we want to ensure that we are reinvesting in our community. So sports is nothing new to us. Before I came on board here, we would have had a partnership with the high jumper, Laverne Spencer, correct? Back then. In 2022, we formed a relationship with Julian Alfred. I think we signed her in September of 2022 when she was actually still at the University of Texas. So our commitment to sport and actually investing in young people is something that we are serious about as an indigenous bank. Right, and I remember when we started having that conversation with Julian Alfred, we first started having some discussion with her mom, Miss Alfred, and then we started talking to the University of Texas to make sure that we had everything ironed out well in terms of the compliance and the regulations, regarding her school and her eligibility. Now, Julian Alfred is actually the future of international sprinting.
With the aid of First National Bank and leading shepherds such as the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports, St. Lucia's Island Champs 2024 will be an outstanding success in promoting development for our young athletes. For Choice News Now, this is Obi Offa reporting.